And I also wanted to mention that, I'm aware I'm not a writer. I've never been an author. I think one time I got published for some poem that I entered in a contest online, like 20 years ago or something. Irrelevant. Uh, and I am no movie maker. And I went to Seattle OIC. It was a occupational institute, and I studied video cinematography and production for a year. But that was back in the paste up days, and digital cameras were just brand new at that point. So, at any rate, I know I don't have the skill set to create a movie, and I'm not going to go through the learning process on this particular story. It's far too important to humanity, and I am not capable. I'm only human, and I have a lot of skills, but not in this arena. And, as I mentioned before, perhaps I am the storyteller, but I'm no writer, and I couldn't put this in eloquence that is worthy of the story itself. So, knowing that, and I'm not putting myself down, nor am I putting myself on a pedestal. That's kind of the whole point of this movie, I think. But that's my perception. I mean, everyone's going to perceive it in their own way, I suspect. I mean, we each have our own mind and heart to be what we want to be. That's the choice we are given. So, at any rate, to get back to the point, I'm sorry, I am a tangent guy, and it's just all in here, and I try to get it out in some kind of context that makes sense to people, but I've been known to be just a babbler, and I am so sorry to take up your time with this, and I know it's going to be a struggle for whatever writer, because it's going to be so jostled when I give it to them. And there will probably be hundreds of hours of me describing these scenes, and I mean, if it comes to the point where, your writers and producers need help to see my vision, I'm always available. But I don't really think that I'm truly an asset to any kind of production, in any sense, really, other than a consultant, because I really don't have the background for this. And this needs to be told by the best professionals in the industry. That being said, perhaps I should have pursued a career in motion, but for some reason it's just felt evil to me my whole life. I have been pursued by Hollywood before, and that's another story, but and radio and television, and recently I had a neighbor named Mike Burgess. He was a radio announcer back in the 70s and 80s. His show used to come on right after Casey Kasem's Top 100 or Pop 100 or whatever that show was. I forget, it's been 40 years ago, so I mean, I can't remember every detail of every second, but I do remember pretty much my whole life and the main, the core value of every day of my life for the most part, but that's irrelevant as well. So, getting back to the point, I am putting this upon, whether it's Hollywood or the Cannes Film Festival or some production company out there that, like I mentioned the Sundance Film Festival before. I think that, down there in Park City, they're going to host it, I think, through 2026, I think I read. But anyways, I could be wrong there. It's, irrelevant as well. But this story needs to be told, and it needs to be told soon. The world is just absolutely, what's the word I'm looking for? Desperate. I think we're losing our inner vision. And I think our DNA is the key. But that's another subject. I don't want to get off on these tangents. I'm sorry. I'll try to rein it in. So anyways, this is something that is above my abilities, and I'm aware of that, and I'm not putting myself down. The story's in this little, the memories are old in my head, and some of the pictures are difficult for me to even bring up. I know that it's going to be an emotional roller coaster for me, and I am scared. And it's not that I'm scared to tell the story. I'm so humbled to tell the story. And again, it's difficult to think I'm worthy of this, because I really don't. And I'm not going to get emotional here about it, although it evokes emotion in us. That's the whole story. I mean, what are we? We all wonder, it's just human nature. What is our purpose? I mean, do we just go to a job and, a career and make our contribution to the future? And I think those are all part of what humanity is, but we ultimately are given the choice to do, and I think that communication, the ability for us to communicate, is just key in the evolution of intelligence. So, that being said, the story needs to be told, because it is true, it is absolute and pure, and just the storyline itself will more than likely dictate that. And again, it is not me. This is not a human construct. These visions were given to me before I ever became a human. And I don't know how else to explain it. I'm sorry, it is so bizarre of a statement. It is such a lugubrious statement. And part of the reason I chose the name Loyedibrious, not to hide who I am. I've said my name and given my phone number, and I'd be happy to give my address, and anybody in the world is more than welcome at my doorstep. I live a very meek life. I am nothing special, and I don't think, honestly, any of us are. And in that context is how I am no different. We are all important. Oh, so important. We don't understand the value of our importance yet. However, we put so much importance on ourselves, and it's a little misled. We're not as important as we think. We're more important in a different way. And that being said, that is the true humbling blessing and message to humanity that's just overwhelming. And we've gone too far from the true spirit, and we value things of materialistic or coveted, nature, and we collect these things, and then the pains, of course, are the loss we feel when we lose these things. But that's, again, another subject, and I'm not going to go tangenting out, in 50 different directions on you, and I'm sorry this is long-winded, but that is my nature. And this is the difficulty that the writers will have, is sifting through thousands of hours of just verbal diarrhea. The diatribe is just ridiculous, but in there the message will be. And that's why I don't have the ability to actually create this movie. I need professionals. But it's really not me. When I say I am referring to humanity. All of us need this message. It is essential in the salvation of our souls. If you don't believe in a creator, look around you, my friends. Look in the mirror. That is by design. Whew. That's enough said. And that being said, the core reason why this message, this story, needs to be told on a global scale, the 7,000 plus billion souls that now inhabit Earth deserve to hear this story in whatever language they perceive. And I'm going to end this little diatribe there. So I think I've said them as much as needed to be said, and I'm sure you get the gist. People are smart, I really believe that. Maybe we're not geniuses, but we're not exactly dumb. Thanks again, and God bless us all. Bye-bye.